Welcome to the Jeremy and Andy Talk Movies podcast. Once again in person, Andy.
Back in person.
At least a few more times.
That's right.
Because I'll just go ahead and say it.
Things are changing.
Things are changing. I am going to be moving back to Tennessee. Good news is, though, the podcast will continue.
It will.
It's honestly the most important thing in my life. So if it wasn't going to continue, then changes wouldn't be happening. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, moving back down to Tennessee around my family, taking a new job.
Very happy for you.
Still going to be podcasting.
Yes. Sad that we won't have this, but very happy for you.
Exactly. Andy, there's a famous quote that's often attributed to Yogi Berra. I don't know if he's the real origin of it, but it goes, nostalgia's not what it used to be. But Hollywood loves them some nostalgia.
Man, do they love it.
And that's what we got this weekend with a return to a franchise that came out in 1997, had a sequel in 1998. I didn't realize that there'd been as much stuff between then and now.
Yeah. There's a third one.
There's a third one, and then there was some like streaming show or something.
I haven't seen the streaming show.
Of course, I'm talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer.
What did you do last summer?
My goodness. So before we jump into this new one, I guess we always like to start with, the originals and kind of our experience with them and our thoughts on them and how that would lead into our thoughts on the sequel. So obviously the big thing is that we've talked about before, Scream was this huge, impactful movie that spawned all these knockoffs. And to me, I always thought of I Know What You Did Last Summer as like the first of that wave of Scream knockoffs. Yep. And it was immediately, the quality significantly less. Scream was prestige, and I Know What You Did Last Summer was
not.
But there was almost like I know this is bad and cheesy, but like I will say there's a nostalgia in my mind for it. Like I would never choose it to watch over Scream or anything like that, but just kind of a likable bad movie.
It was kind of like a placeholder in between Scream 1 and Scream 2 because it came out in between those two movies. And it was like, this will do till Scream 2 comes out. Like, I Know What You Did Last Summer came out in October, I believe, and Scream 2 was coming out in December. So it was like, this will hold me over. And at the time, I remember very specifically, it was like, you get to see a Scream 2 trailer if you go see I Know What You Did Last Summer.
There you go.
I mean, like, no one was really hiding the fact that it was like, hey, we're just riding the wave of Scream.
Right.
I mean, it really wasn't that hidden, I mean, they're all over the place for the marketing of I Know What You Did Last Summer was from the writer of Scream, Kevin Williamson.
And I think right from the beginning, the title was always kind of funny. Like, it's just way too long.
It's way too long. It's
goofy. It's funny that like it's been so long now, it almost has become kind of normal. But I remember like I Know What You Did Last Summer, people are like, wow, it's
a mouthful.
It's quite a title.
Yeah.
The second one.
Oh my gosh. I still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Is even worse. The thing I'll always remember about the second one is watching it. I think a bunch of people at a friend's house for like his birthday party. So there's a whole group of us guys and we watch it together. And it's one of those like we all know it's bad, but we're all just enjoying the badness.
Really bad.
I mean, it's got Jack Black and dreadlocks.
It's bad. It makes no sense. It's really
a mess.
Bad,
But I don't know why. I think because of that setting of kind of watching it, just like a fun joy watch a bad movie. I even have a little bit of nostalgia for that, even though again,
it's bad,
I would never purposely return to it.
I still Know What You Did Last Summer makes I Know What You Did Last Summer look like Scream.
That's what? That's fair. So anyways, and then of course, as I said, I didn't even realize there was the third
The direct-to-DVD one is just... I mean, it makes, I'll always Know What You Did Last Summer makes I Still Know What You Did Last Summer look like Scream 2. How about that?
I am loving this.
It's all coming to me.
And then the streaming show that was canceled after one season.
I don't think anybody cared.
Again, I totally missed that till I was reading it about this one.
I don't think anybody cared about that.
And this one, it doesn't matter because apparently this one ignored the things in between I Still Know and this one. So this one is... It's kind of doing...
It's a legacy sequel, I guess, is what you could say, right?
Yeah, which has become kind of a popular thing these days with franchises that went wayward, with them saying, we're going to do a sequel that just cuts out all the ones we don't like.
Yeah. And just that alone is frustrating.
Yeah. So this one just returns to the the original name, just I Know What You Did Last Summer. Doesn't even give us a still or, anything like that. So I'll try to give a little summary of this one, and then we'll jump into our discussion of it. So we return to Seaport, North Carolina, a quiet fishing town that was turned upside down nearly 3 decades ago when a group of teens were involved in a car accident, which they covered up, only to be stalked by a killer a year later who taunted them with the message, I know what you did last summer. Now a group of young 20-somethings are involved in a car accident, which they cover up, only to be stalked by a killer a year later who taunts them with the message, I know what you did last summer.
That is accurate.
Andy,
yeah,
was this movie good?
No, of course it wasn't. It was really bad. It wasn't. It's not the worst movie of the year, I don't think, like I thought it was going to be. I just, for some reason, that scene in the trailer where Jennifer Love Hewitt's like, what did you do last summer? Just really just hit a nerve with me, and I really hated that. So I was like, this is going to be dreadful. It's not the worst movie. It's so generic. It's just so low stakes and so forgettable, and just it's not good.
Andy, I think this is the worst movie I've seen all year.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one interesting thing about this movie.
Interesting is not a word I would use to describe this movie.
Here's the thing. They decided to retell a bad horror movie. Mm-hmm. And rather than update it by either leaning into the silliness and making it more fun, or finding a way to elevate it and make it actually like scary, they basically just retold the original in the same way, except for every small difference that they made to try to distinguish it somehow actually made it worse.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable to me that this was made and that people thought that this was a good idea.
Yeah. I think the only difference between me and you is I just have such a soft spot for horror movies, and that's why I'm saying I still think like Fountain of Youth was worse than this, but yeah, it's bad. I'll hold off. We'll get into it, I'm sure.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I have less notes about the actual story. I kind of just have a bunch of notes about how I didn't like it.
Bring it on.
So like, I really don't think anything in this movie was well crafted. Mm-hmm. I mean, there isn't a single scene, there isn't a single line of dialogue, or there isn't a single bit of story arc that I could glob onto. Like, it genuinely felt like they were making it up as they went along.
Yeah. I don't argue with that at all.
Yeah. This is the first movie in several years I've had a strong inclination to walk out on.
Really?
And not because like, it wasn't like I'm so offended. The previous movie I walked out on was the only movie I've ever walked out on was House of Wax. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like, it started to do that, like, this is just being like gross and disturbing for the sake of it. And I'm out of kind of offended by that. This was more like an hour in, I go, I am bored. I have zero confidence that anything's going to happen that could save this. Like, literally, I can't imagine a thing. So I was like, I almost just want to leave because I know I'm just not going to enjoy the next hour. No. But I'm a completionist. I know we're doing it for the pod, so I stuck it out.
Yeah.
And
it's the longest hour and 50-minute movie ever.
So, yes, it's an hour and 50 minutes, making it the longest installment in the franchise. And I'm going, why? Why did this need to be the longest one?
More time? Yeah. You know, and I guess the thing is too, like, what I really realized watching it this week, it's like the other movies aren't good.
Right.
It's like nostalgia is powerful.
Yeah.
It really is. And they were smart in the previews. They put Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt, they're both very present in the preview. And that is the smart move if you're going to do this movie. But they just, good for Jennifer Love Hewitt for cashing a check for doing absolutely nothing in this movie. Like, we'll get to it in a little bit, but at least Freddie Prinze Jr. is doing something in this movie. She is doing nothing. She's like, hey, I'm not even going to run in this movie. Like, I don't even want to get chased by the killer.
It's true.
Like, she does the least in this movie. Like, she does nothing.
Yeah. So this had the feel of a joyless production.
Yes.
Because everyone had to be in it for the paycheck. And just everybody lost in this movie.
Yeah.
So, and what kills me is, so I saw an interview with Freddie Prinze Jr. And it was like on the red carpet, and they were like, the person interviewing was like, so you're kind of notorious for being unwilling to like return to previous installments, like you won't do a She's All That sequel and stuff. What made you return to this one? And he was like, oh, like at first I was like, no, but then they set me down and told me about their idea of the story, and it was so good and so fascinating. And I signed up for it, and I'm like, actors are amazing at their ability. Like, he's the best acting you've ever done, Freddie Prinze, right there.
He's like, I wanted to take Sarah Michelle Gellar on a vacation, so
how about you just say the truth? I'm going to be honest. My career hasn't exactly been sizzling for the past 2 decades. This is a great paycheck, and I'm like, where do I sign?
It'd be almost more endearing if they would just admit that.
Yeah.
Dude, can I just go ahead real quick and just say the one positive thing I have about this movie?
Yeah.
I did, maybe just because the bar was so low, I did like the 2 female leads, like the 2 girls. I guess this is not a huge spoiler. Like, there are 2 girls who survived this movie, and I thought they had a couple of funny back and forth lines. That was the only positive thing. I thought it was really funny when she was like, "I'm starving," and she was like, "Yeah, I don't even remember the last time we actually ate." Like, if the movie would have been more like that, where they are kind of almost doing a meta type commentary on these kind of movies, I think it would have been way better.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought that was, I mean, unfortunately, that's in the last like 4 minutes of the movie. But I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. And it's kind of creative that they're making fun of the fact that, like, nobody ever eats in these movies. I thought that was kind of funny. Again, the rest of the bar, the bar was so low. That was one little thing that did jump out at me.
Yeah.
And that's about all the positive I have to say. So I figured might as well just get it out of the way.
I guess we'll go ahead and put a spoiler warning up. You're gonna know what happens in this movie, though.
It's not hard to figure out what's gonna happen in this movie.
The desire to so closely replicate what happened in the first one with the inciting incident, the car accident on the winding cliff roads, is like, oh my gosh, you were like, you couldn't even come up with a new way for an accident to have happened. Yeah. You're literally just gonna do another kids partying on a winding road type situation, except for, like I said, the decisions making it worse. In the first one, at least it was like somebody was drinking and out in the sunroof and causing a commotion, and they accidentally hit somebody. That makes sense why you would cover that up. You're totally at fault. Like, totally. This one, they're just messing around the road. Someone comes flying out of nowhere, swerves to miss him, and goes on a cliff.
Any kind of legal trouble.
This is not the reason. Yeah, this is not the thing you've got to like cover up a murder over. Like, you tried to help him, you were grabbing like everything about it was like this 100% just call the police.
Yeah.
And everything goes away.
And it's crazy too how, like, you describe the scene, you're like, kids are on this windy road, there's a mountain and the sea, and this vehicle's dangling over the edge. It's like, you describe it and it might accidentally sound exciting. It's such a dull scene. And then they're all just kind of like, whoa, you okay, man? And they're trying to open the door. And then the dude his arm just bursts through the window, grabs the guy's jacket, which never comes up again.
You're right, it doesn't.
Never. Why did you even film? Why did you go through the trouble of filming that scene to have a stuntman have to bust through a window and grab a guy's jacket? It's never once talked about again.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty bad when the first one, which isn't that good of a movie, like in the first one, he grabs Sarah Michelle Gellar's crown, and when they push him in the water, and it's like, crap, he's got her crown. That's going to link us to this crime scene. So the Ryan Felipe or whatever character has to dive in and get the crown. Like, I'm not saying it's good, but at least it's something. This, they're just like, oh, all right. Like, no one's even like, hey, dude, he got your jacket.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't talk about it. And because actually, I rewatched the 97 one this week.
Nice.
Yeah. So in that one, like, I'm not saying it's good acting, but they're at least like, they're freaking out. And Ryan Phillippe's like the douchey jock guy, and he's yelling. He's like, we're going to cover this up. And then this one, the characters are just like, yeah, we should probably just not tell any. Like, there's not even like big emotions or anything. It's just like you said, it's just like everyone kind of loses because they're all just like, oh, like, we should probably just cover this up, right? Like, yeah. And then it just kind of cuts to 1 year later, and you're like, okay, well, that was really lifeless and dull.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. Everything we both say, we're both just going to be like, yeah, you're right.
So you're right. They cut to 1 year later, and we're at another bridal party.
Okay, can we stop just real quick? They cut to 1 year later. We get the most weird, random makeout scene, I think, in movie history.
Yes, I almost forgot.
And I mean, we don't even have to comment on it, but I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I don't even care the circumstances. It just makes no sense, and it just, like, that was so awkward.
Well, and even that, you're like, okay, they're really trying to say something about this character. She's kind of gone off the deep end. But other than that, and one other makeout scene, that's the only
Yeah. I mean, if they were going to do like that, man, she's just kind of like self-destructive now, and they don't even run with that.
And that's really what I mean with the whole, like, it feels like they're making up as they go, because that's exactly sort of thing. Like, there's no real like character consistency or development.
No.
Even in all of like the scenes of like near death or death, it really feels like they aren't sure. Like, are we going to kill the character off now? Maybe not. Let's have him get away.
It's like they flipped a coin the last minute. Well, there's a scene in a cemetery that's so bad.
Yes,
we can get to that.
Oh my gosh,
it's
or even the sauna scene where like I was like, this is clearly his turn to. Oh no, we're just doing another scene of taunting for no reason.
Let's get to that sauna scene in a minute, because I got some thoughts.
All right, but yeah, so the 1 year after the jarring, we're doing an interesting make out scene. They're back at another bridal shower, and you're like, wait, didn't we just do a bridal shower? Oh, the reveal is that she's now engaged to somebody else.
Also, these are like 18-year-olds. It's like, so you've been engaged twice?
Yeah. And it is, again, a horror movie trope that they are the wealthiest kids in the world, always at the nicest houses and nicest cars and stuff. But yeah. So that's when she gets the note. I know what you did last summer note, and kind of kicks things into gear for the plot of the movie, but man,
not really.
It is,
because this movie drags.
It does not. You're like, okay, all right, here we go. Let's start.
Go.
Let's start. I know what you did. Yeah. And it really, I mean, it takes a long time before any of the main characters in particular have an encounter with the fisherman, because the first victim is obviously the new fiance.
Yeah.
Right. He's the first one, and then
he's the first one. No, or is it him, or is it the podcaster? I don't even remember.
I think it's
the fiance.
Yeah, and then you get the podcast. Yeah, it's all. Okay, so here's one of my biggest complaints about this one. They're way too precious with their main characters in this one.
Yes.
Like, they didn't want to kill any of them off.
These are not interesting characters, guys. Just kill them.
Yeah.
So the scene where the fiance gets killed was given away in the previews.
Yes.
Literally just given away in the previews. There's nothing new about it.
And I think the reason why is because it was the probably best staged and filmed kill, even though, again, nothing new or original. But like, when I think back on it, like, none of the other kills were better than it.
No, that was
So they were literally like, we got to put our best foot forward because we got a turd to sell, and we need people to think that there's more of this.
Yeah. So he gets killed. The fiance's up in the bath, and she comes down. And I want to get to an overall complaint when we're all done kind of talking through this. So then we get this scene. So then the podcaster, who the other main girl met on the plane, she takes her to the site of one of the killings from the 97. And it's like that podcaster character is just so convenient that she knows everything about the old 97 incident, and she can just give the exposition. This movie is so lazy because, like, the podcaster girl's like, hey, I'm going to run upstairs real quick. And the other main girl's standing down there. The fisherman killer guy just walks right up to her. Right? Am I remembering this wrong?
No,
like,
I think you're
broad
right.
daylight. They're in a business, like an old building downtown. And he just walks up to her. And she's like, hey, that's not funny. I couldn't tell you one character's name in this movie, by the way. Milo. Someone's named Milo. I know that.
Yeah, I've got character names here, but I don't have the podcast name written down. So.
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And she's just like, she thinks it's the podcaster girl. And she's like, hey, that's not funny. And scary fisherman person just stands there. And it's so lifeless and void of any suspense or originality or anything else.
The killer is the most incompetent boob when it comes to chasing any of the main characters.
But they have that convenient cage set up in this old... That was so stupid. That got a laugh, like, in our theater.
That was Looney Tunes-esque.
That got a laugh in the wrong way in our theater. Like, I saw it with Molly and her friends, Lexi and Chloe, and we were all just like, uh-oh. Like, that was pretty bad.
So... we mentioned with the fiance getting killed, the first kill.
Yeah.
The killer uses a harpoon gun. Wildly effective.
Yeah.
Then decides
let's never use it
again because apparently that's the only effective means that the killer has of accomplishing his deeds. Because the rest of the time, I mean, it is... If you put a montage of the killer chasing the main characters to like the old, what is it, Benny Hill music?
Yeah.
It would
like
fit perfectly.
Like,
sax
or whatever that is.
Just
It's
can't make contact with swinging the hook to save their life, tripping, falling, everything that hits them knocks them over. It's just
and a movie like this really does highlight how good of a job stuff like Scream does. You know, it's like all these chase scenes, they are cliched, even the Scream ones, and I like Scream, but they come up with good original. Like I was thinking of like Scream 6 when the killer is in their apartment and they have to put the ladder in between the two apartments. Like, of course, it's ridiculous, but it's well done. There's nothing well done in this movie. Like, Fish Guy's just standing there, drops a cage on this girl, chases the podcaster to the upstairs, and then just kind of walks up to her and kills her.
Yeah.
Like, it's so lifeless.
Yes.
And then you got the cliche, like, she pulls the mask off as she's dying. You don't see it's you. And then it's broad daylight, so he kills her with the hook, I think, takes the time to, like, wrap a flag or something around her neck, chuck her out the window of this business in broad daylight, and then we just cut to the next scene. Because in these movies, the killer can just vanish in broad daylight in a black, like huge black with a huge hat, like what do they call it, like a slicker the whole movie. And it's just like, okay, this is bad. Like that. So that chase scene happened, and I'm just sitting there like this, like, okay. So there's the podcast. The podcast character is dead. Yeah. Okay. I have no reaction to that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the podcast character, the new fiance, those are two of the most obvious, well, they're going to die characters in movie history.
I'm honestly surprised the podcaster lived as long as she did in this movie.
Yeah. She had to get out that exposition, so.
She did get out the exposition, yes.
Yeah. So then they do start tracking down the old survivors, and that's how we bring in Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. My absolute favorite what the heck are they doing part of this movie is that the one guy makes the brilliant suggestion of, why don't we just get on my boat and get away and
he goes, why don't we just go to the Bahamas?
And Freddie Prinze Jr., in what is clearly just a nod to I Still Want You Did Last Summer, goes, I wouldn't recommend that. But it actually is the best idea. And in fact, later, they're finally like, go get on the boat and get out of here. And it's like, oh, the thing that the dude suggested forever ago.
Everybody died?
And everyone didn't do it just because Freddie Prinze Jr. wanted to make a reference to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. A movie that everyone hates. Like, yeah, it's so bad. And then what happens? Let's see. They go find Jennifer Love Hewitt. You find out Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. were married, and then they weren't.
Yeah.
There's a scene that's so stupid where it's supposed to be suspenseful, I guess, and Jennifer Love Hewitt's at home and she's checking like her ring cams, and it's just Freddie Prinze Jr. knocking on her door to like lecture her about some advice she gave to these teenagers. Like, it's just all bad. There's no good dialogue. There's no good acting.
No.
Like, it's bad. And then this movie is really bad, really, really bad about doing the thing where like, so all these, like, what is there, 5 of them or however many?
Yeah.
They all know they're being stalked and like someone is trying to kill us. So by all means, let's separate as often as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Like, that was so annoying. It's like, idiots, just stay together. And they just find these stupidest reasons to all branch off from each other. So then at one point, the one, I guess, it's basically like 2 main girls. Like the blonde one and the dark-haired one.
Yes.
Again, don't know
it's
either one of their names.
To just
I think one of their names is like Danielle or something?
Danica.
Danica, okay.
Is the blonde one, and then Ava is the dark-haired one.
I could not have told you her name was Ava if my life depended on it.
Me neither, if I didn't just look at it on IMDb.
So then we get one of the worst scenes in the movie where Danica, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the ex-fiance,
yeah,
they're like, let's go to the cemetery.
I still don't know why they went to the cemetery.
To look at the dude's grave, right, who died.
Oh, right. The guy who was in the accident.
They thought there were clues. So this is just such a terrible and lazy and just awfully written scene. So they're just kind of standing there and they're like, oh, those are fresh flowers. Maybe we know. So then right at that time, the cemetery guy shows up. Hey, do you know who did these? No. How about that camera? Okay, I'll go check. Of course, the killer, I guess, knew they were going to the cemetery. I don't even know. Killer's right there to kill the cemetery guy. And then once again, we get a scene where the Danica character is just standing there, and she just kind of turns around, and there's the fisherman killer. They have another lifeless chase sequence. They have to throw in, like, I think it's like the float is from the original I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Who cares? Why has a float been sitting in there in the cemetery for 30 years? That's stupid. Killer shows up. like you said, he's an idiot. Has all the chance in the world to kill her. Bangs her head on the float and is getting ready to kill her. The boyfriend who's just been conveniently, or the ex-fiance.
Yeah.
Just because the script requires him to be out of the way for a couple minutes is out of the way. Shows back up, stops him, and then the killer just leaves and it's like scene over.
Yeah. Well, and the part you left out, which I think you were going to allude to because you're talking about the dumb reasons they separate, is they're together, and when the groundskeeper for the cemetery doesn't come back,
he goes look for him.
Yeah, let me go check on this guy. So he walks away, and granted, when he walks away, there's like 2 other people nearby, but then they leave. So then she's all of a sudden like, oh, I'm just here by myself in the creepy cemetery. Like she wouldn't immediately go like, well, I'm going with you. I'm not standing here by myself in the creepy cemetery at night with a killer after us.
Someone is literally trying to murder me. I saw my fiance with a harpoon rammed up through his face. I'm just going to stand in a cemetery. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Of course, this is, a movie like this has to do several red herrings. They got to have several characters they want you to believe are going to be the killers.
We got to talk about this. This is the worst red herring in movie history, I think.
Yeah.
They just out of nowhere shoehorn a preacher into this movie.
Yeah.
And his only job, his character name might as well be Red, first name Red, last name Herring. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey man, just be weird and creepy for no reason so that the audience thinks you're a killer. Like, instantly this guy is not the killer.
Yeah.
Like, I literally leaned over to Molly and I was like, well, it's not him. Like, this is so bad. Like, why would this, and like, it's so clunky, too, because I'm like, wait, who and why? Like, why are they going to talk to this preacher? You somehow learn he's got some kind of connection, right? Mm-hmm. What is it? I don't even remember.
The guy that died was, like, part of their congregation.
Okay.
And he had taken his truck. It was his truck that got wrecked.
Yeah, but I felt like they did a really bad job of explaining all that.
They did.
There's also a really terrible scene where some of the other characters are trying to find out who this vehicle is registered to.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
Oh, man, it was bad.
It was bad, and it was also just long. Like, it was stuff like that drug this movie out, and you're like, I don't care how they trick this stupid-looking guy into giving them all this information about this vehicle.
Yeah, and once again, that's where it just felt like they were making up as they went along.
Yeah.
They're like, we gotta do this now. Yeah. Then we gotta go do that.
They're sitting there telling like the worst lie ever, and that guy's like, oh, okay, let's see, here you go. Here's every bit of information you need.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Really is. So I guess if you're okay, we'll jump to the end. We'll talk about what the plot is, because this movie. This is what what it really comes down to is if they can pull off the end. And a lot of times these movies, it will make the movie. I don't think they could have done anything that would have made this movie, but in the end, it's like, okay, it turns out to be Stevie, the one friend that they kind of pulled in last minute.
And it's
like their estranged friend.
That was so poorly done.
And it turns out like she had a close connection to this guy. So this is the thing with it. You take a twist or a movie like Scream, and the twist is, oh, the boyfriend Billy Loomis is the killer, and at first he's like pretending he doesn't have a motive, but then he tells you your mother was with my father, and that's why my mother left, and you realize, oh, but seeds of that were planted because you knew those bits of information about their parent, or that his mother was gone. You knew that her mother before she was killed was accused of being
it doesn't come out of nowhere.
When it happens, you go,
they've been telling us this all along. Yeah.
This one, they make the revelation. You're like, okay, that's new information.
Yeah, how would I have ever known that?
I would have pieced that together immediately if we hadn't. But
and it's just so bad. So Stevie and then the 2 other main girls leave on a boat, which was fine. It's like, yeah, that's what you should have done. And then all of a sudden they're just like, did the anchor just drop? And then it just cuts to Stevie wearing so you got on the boat to kill these girls and you took the time to go change your clothes and put on your scary fisherman outfit
just to reveal that it is you and then take it off. Well, that's really stupid. I don't know if they did it just so they could get that joke in. She does take it off and she's like, that thing is so freaking hot. Yeah.
Warm, meaning. And it was that was kind of funny. But if it wasn't so stupid that she put it on, and then you get the extra cliche scene. Can we go ahead and give this away?
Yes.
Yes. So Freddie Prinze Jr. shows up also on a boat and kind of saves the day or whatever.
I have to say one thing about that.
Please.
She runs over and she is trying to wave down his boat while holding a flare gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, you were literally holding the thing that is meant to draw the attention of people for help. Help! I mean, it worked out. He's already came, but I was like,
so stupid.
You're holding the flare gun.
Yeah.
Shoot the flare in the air. Flare.
And then we just get one of the least suspenseful scenes in movie history, where the girl killer is holding Danica and spouting exposition and blah blah blah, and Freddie Prinze Jr. has a gun and he's like, "You don't have to do that," and then all of a sudden he just shoots her. Or I guess she stabs the Danica character and chucks her overboard. I did not think for a second that character was dead. I really didn't care.
Yeah.
But I didn't think she was dead. And then he just shoots Stevie, and it's like, okay, there's still more.
Yeah, because the movie just keeps going.
The movie just keeps going. And then we have this really, really terrible written scene where Jennifer Love Hewitt is, I think, checking a voicemail from Ava. And she goes, yeah, it was Stevie all along. I don't know how she did this by herself. And you're just like, yeah, we know there's another killer. And by this point, here's the big spoiler. The only person it could possibly be is Freddie Prinze Jr., which it is. Freddie Prinze Jr. does not have it in his acting range to go from nice, goofy guy to scary killer.
No. And then, of course, it's classic. Jennifer Love Hewitt somehow finds that information out and travels to where they are
in the perfect amount of time.
Perfect amount of time.
And she figures that, she just figures it out because she has the convenient picture pulled up on her computer of Freddie Prinze Jr. owns a bar. Yeah. Stevie worked for him.
Yeah.
And somehow that leads her to know that they're doing this together.
Yeah. She shows up right in time as Freddie Prinze is about to kill her, just in time to give her other iconic line from the series, "What are you waiting for?" And he goes to kill her, and
that scene was
Ava shoots
horrible.
Her. Oh, it was bad.
That was so bad. I was like, were Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt just always this bad? And 17, 16-year-old me just was too busy gawking at Jennifer Love Hewitt to note it. I didn't think she was good, but holy cow.
So literally my notes, because I was eventually we'll talk a little bit about cast, but I was my notes for Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt were they always this bad? Probably. But the amazing thing to me is I genuinely believe this. For the most part, people who are in Hollywood acting for as long as they've been, even if they start off bad, usually with the amount of reps that they've had, they start to be pretty good. You just can't help but anybody bad at anything, if they do it long enough, you'll get at least some. It is unbelievable how they have not progressed at all. In fact, to the point where you're going man, how bad were they to start? You're exactly right.
Their scenes together are, they are just cringy, as the kids would say.
Delivery. Watching, bless her, I feel bad saying this, but watching Jennifer Love Hewitt play a professor talking to those students, I was like, this is the least believable professor I've ever seen in a movie.
I'm sure
she starts that scream and then turns around and is like, that's what trauma does to her. And it's like, oh my gosh, Jennifer Love Hewitt,
it's bad.
Bless you.
And I have nothing against her.
If I met you in real life, I'd probably still melt and tell you she was the greatest, but
she seems like a lovely person. She kind of stays under the radar in Hollywood. She's not annoying like a lot of celebrities are, but man alive, are they terrible in this movie. And then just because everything in this movie has to be the laziest. When the Ava character figures out it's Freddie Prinze Jr., he takes off his shirt like an idiot, and he's got a bandage on his arm where the killer was cut earlier in the movie by Ava, and it's so just literally everyone in this movie is a moron, including Freddie Prinze Jr.
Absolutely.
And then that was so weird too, where it was just why are you changing your shirt all of a sudden?
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with anything except for, I guess it was supposed to be this shock scene of her seeing that bandage, and you're just well, that was it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Also, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, his motivation is just people were forgetting about us. They were just going to sweep it under the rug, so we had to make them remember. And it's so your whole thing is that you were traumatized by a killer, but heroically survived it and escaped
and now you just decided to kill people.
Yeah.
Also, he's very determined, in that end scene, his plan is to kill Jennifer Love Hewitt. 45 minutes earlier in the movie, he was alone in her house with her. Why didn't he just kill her then?
It's a great question.
There's numerous times, if you're going to take this movie seriously, which you can't, but if you were going to, Why didn't they just immediately, like, Stevie is with all of them through the whole movie. Like, they're all just sitting there like, just get out a knife and just stab them all real quick. There's no point in dragging this out other than you have to drag it out long enough to make a movie.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It makes no sense.
It is literally like the Dr. Evil and Austin Powers talking to Scott, being like, "You just don't get it, son."
Yeah.
He's like, "Let's just get a gun and shoot him." No, we gotta
leave them in this elaborate contraption situation.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily for them, every character is the stupidest person, because I just want to go back real quick to that sauna scene, which is awful.
Yeah.
So once again, it's like, so a killer is stalking you and killing your friends, so you're gonna go take a steam, and then the killer takes the time to sneak in, write "you're next" on the window, and it's like the dude walks up and has to do like and then it just cuts to that dude like later that night just sitting by himself. Like, why would you do that? And then he's like, he sees something in the distance. It's just the killer standing there in the shadows. So he walks over there like a moron, and then he gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is lifeless, thoughtless, suspenseless. Like, this is just terrible all around. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And there's like this stupid subplot about that particular Theo. Is that his name? Theo, maybe?
Teddy, I think.
Teddy. Okay, thank you. His dad is like, he's got all this power and he's like covered all this up. Like, number one, who cares? That's a stupid subplot that nobody cares about. And they only use it when it's convenient for the movie. You know, it's like, We'll just go to the cops. And then like, oh, no, George or whatever his name is, he's keeping us all, you know. And there's a really, really bad scene where they lock the two main girls in like the questioning room for no reason. And then the one girl has a dream sequence just so they can shoehorn Sarah Michelle Gellar in this movie.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was afraid we weren't going to talk about that. This is the biggest problem with the movie, is that the writer and director, whose name is Jennifer Caton Robinson, is clearly too much of a fan of the original. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
so I have to put everything.
I wasn't even going to read the trivia for this one because I was like, I don't care enough. I don't want to know anything. But then I did sit down and read just a little bit, not all of it. And one of them was that she was like trying desperately to get Sarah Michelle Gellar back into this movie. And she's like, I couldn't figure out how, because obviously she was dead in the first one. And so she's trying to pitch all these weird ideas like, well, maybe this, maybe she was just in hiding. And Sarah Michelle Gellar was like, I was dead. I was literally on ice. I was as dead as a person could get. Like, I was Sarah Dead Gellar. And so like this person just wanted her back so much that then they change it to a dream sequence so she could at least be in it. It's like, you're too precious about a movie that is not
Isn't
precious.
Good, yeah.
So I compared this, when we talked about it before, to the thing I still haven't figured out if it's an unironic or ironic people returning to the band's Creed and Limp Bizkit, and how they're like actually having these like resurgence and selling out tours and stuff. And it's, if people are like, it's kind of funny, like they're kind of remind us of old times, but we know they're bad. Like, that's, I understand. But somewhere out there's people who are like, no, these are my favorite bands. I love these bands. Mm-hmm. And the person who made this movie was somebody going, no, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah. I think it's a perfect movie. In fact, I don't want to change anything. Yeah. I just want to redo it. Yeah. And I want all the original people back. And it's like, okay, that's where you went wrong. You needed somebody who goes, hey, it's a dumb movie. It was a dumb so let's we're either going to, like I said, lean into it and be silly, or we're going to find a way to make it better. You can't just redo it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you almost like sign this nostalgia contract when you agree to make a movie like this. Like, well, you got to shoehorn in Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was not even an interesting character in the first movie.
Right.
Like, she was just like, her career was hot at that time because everyone was all in on Buffy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, but that character in of herself is just a throwaway character.
So again, changes that they did make from the original. For one, I guess I will say I'll give, I guess, Jennifer Caton Robinson credit for the fact that she was willing to say, okay, we're going to make Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character a bad guy in this one, because that is a big swing.
It's a big swing.
At that point, I didn't care, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
but it's a big swing.
Big swing in a bad movie.
But the thing I'll give credit for with the original is, as big as Sarah Michelle Gellar was, they kill her in the movie, right? Just like, and I think, again, kind of taking a cue from Scream, because Scream's willingness to kill Drew Barrymore and say, you're not too big to die in our movie. Madeline Klein in this movie, who plays Danica, who I knew I recognized, but I couldn't figure out why. She's from the Outer Banks, which I've only seen a few episodes of. I don't love her. I just love the idea of her. Anyway, sorry, that's from Outer Banks. I was like, you said it. She gets stabbed and overboard. This movie was way too precious with she's too big of a star. We can't kill her. And obviously, then she does the classic. She's dead overboard, out to sea, and washes up on shore.
Washes right up on,
and then she's okay because once she's on shore, she can just cough up the I mean,
it's bad.
That's so you've got to kill a star. You've got to do that in a movie like this if it's going to work. Yeah. But because because from the beginning I could go, they won't kill her, and everyone else is going to die.
So bad. And then in one of the just all-time weird decisions in a movie. As the credits are getting ready to roll, you have the Madeline Klein character and then whatever her name is who plays Ava. They're just talking and she goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, Stevie's still alive."
Yeah, that whole exchange annoyed the heck out of me. They were like, "How many pop culture cliches can we put in back and forth? Like 0 stars, do not recommend. Oh, by the way, Stevie's still." Yeah, all of it was just.
It was bad. I think it was bad to the point where I felt bad for the actresses having to deliver those lines.
I did too.
Because I really don't think they do a bad job considering what they've got to work with.
Yeah.
Like they're not like Dakota Johnson and Madam Web, which is like the only thing I was saying earlier where it's like this isn't quite Madam Web levels. Because like their game, I feel like, to try. And it's like they're kind of actually funny when they both come out of the hospital and they both look like crap. And they're just like, what? You know, like... They're doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
They just are like you said, in a turd.
But I will say the writing letting them down. So the Danica character is a little all over the place because you could tell it was like she was supposed to be, so like her fiance, who I think probably did the best job out of all the young people because the guy that played Teddy, because he was the most stereotypical character. But because of that, he was the most interesting because he actually you knew who he was. Mm-hmm. He's kind of the rich, a little bit douchey. He's the Ryan Phillippe character from the original.
Is just all over the place.
Everyone else is so generic; they don't even have like a thing to them. And I think with the Danica character, she was supposed to be kind of like the rich and spoiled, like a little bit dumb.
But they want to make her like so witty.
But because she's the star too, they're like, we need to make her a little better. So they just kind of dance back and forth between that and never really land on a character arc for her or a character path for her.
Yeah. And like we already talked about, they do the poor actress playing Ava, they do her such a disservice because it's like, hey, you're going to randomly make out with this girl on an airplane because you're so disturbed, but then you're not. But then then later on, it's like she has I felt so bad for her. She has one of the all-time worst dialogues to have to deliver when she's making out with the Milo character. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even going to say what she says to him. Yeah. But do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
It's like, I honestly, like, you want to meet that person in real life, go back in time and tap her on the shoulder and be like, hey, you don't have to say those lines. Like, stand up for yourself. These are embarrassing lines to have to give, and they make no sense in the context of this movie.
Yeah.
If you want to say them, go right ahead.
I'm good.
Okay.
The guy that plays Milo, that poor guy, that was the most generic character. That character literally had nothing to him.
No.
Absolutely
nothing.
Nothing.
It's like, tell me 3 qualities of Milo. I got nothing.
The only thing I'll say about him is he looks like a mix between young Freddie Prinze Jr.
and Ryan Phillippe.
Well, I was going to say a young Freddie Prinze Jr., and the guy that played Todd in Final Destination.
Oh, yeah.
I kept looking at him going, like, there's something about his face that looks familiar, and I finally realized it's a little bit Todd from Final Destination, but if you mixed him perfectly with Freddie Prinze, that's who you'd get.
You're right. That character had beyond nothing to do. And then he just has the laziest death scene.
Yes, like, fitting how uncreative his character was.
And again, just dragging this movie out for no reason. It's like he's making out with the Ava character. He's like, I can't do this. Like, whatever. He goes outside. He gets in his car for like 30 seconds. You're like, okay, maybe the killer's in the back seat. I really don't care. The killer's not in the back seat. So we just sit with him in his car for a couple of minutes for no reason. Then he gets out and just stands in front of the door like an idiot. Of course, you can't open the door because that's how these movies are. And then the killer's just behind him with a rope and strangles him. And you're like, that was like 3 or 4 minutes of nothing.
Yeah. All the scenes that were supposed to be building tension were just dragging.
They were bad. Like, this poor director, like she had no idea how to stage an interesting scene at all.
No. And so the director has only directed a couple things, nothing that I've seen or know. The only thing I know that she's been involved in is she was a co-writer with Taika Waititi on Thor: Love and Thunder. And knowing that, I'm like, ooh.
Like, clearly, yeah.
This is a name that's the opposite of like, oh, I'm in on them and on the lookout for. This is a name that I'm like, I will proceed with caution if I see this name attached to anything.
Thor: Love and Thunder is bad. This movie's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not good.
I will say I was a little surprised when I walked out of the movie. I said, well, I was telling you this about Eddington, but actually both movies I saw this weekend, I walked out and I saw Chloe and Lexi, and I talked to them for a minute about it. They actually were much higher on this movie. Actually, Chloe said she was like, I thought it was really good. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, I did not. And I felt kind of bad. I was like, hope they don't listen to the podcast.
You know what? They're young. They've got much to learn.
I was about to say, there's plenty of movies when I was younger that I liked that now I look back and be like,
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I think I saw it like 3 times. So she's young. She's 18. She's young.
Rotten Tomatoes, the critics are a little more in line with us. 38%. Still feels high to me. And then audience is 68%. That's probably, again, the young crowds going there, I guess.
People, yeah.
I don't know. It had a budget, I think, of about 18 million is what I saw. Do you know much about how it's done? I think it's not doing well.
It made 13 million.
Okay. Well,
I mean, that's
on the budget it has.
Okay, but it's just not, like Scream 6 comes out and it opened to like literally like $50 million. Like, there's still an interest for that franchise. There's not much of an interest for this. Just real quick, not to backtrack. Did you stay for the mid-credit scene?
No.
Good gosh.
I honestly, they got to the credits and I thought, if there is a credit scene, I don't care at this point.
So I'll just go ahead and tell you, it's Brandy from I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Nice.
Jennifer Love Hewitt shows up and she's like, hey, we've got some work to do. She shows Brandy like a note that's like, this isn't over. And they're just like, let's do this. And you're like, oh no. Are we expanding? So I don't know if you're supposed to be led to believe that it's Stevie that's writing this note, and that's why they threw in the terrible line about Stevie still being alive. But it was just like, don't do this.
We do need to go back to that because, Freddie Prinze Jr. shoots Stevie over the boat, and then later when he reveals himself, she goes, you killed your partner, and he goes, did I? And then that's it. And you're like, so did you shoot blanks? Was your plan all along to pretend to kill her? But weren't you just planning to kill those girls? Why would you need to?
Here's the most, it's the 2 killers, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Stevie, and the 2 girls on an isolated boat out in the ocean. Why wouldn't they just kill them both and get it over with? This movie makes no sense. How do you take such a stupid, simple plot and make it make no sense?
When you put it like that, the 2 killers have their 2 final victims.
And he's like, no. On a boat. Instead, what I'm going to do is pretend to shoot you. You fall overboard out in the middle of the freaking ocean. And then I guess just swim back to shore and just start all over again. And then we're going to shoehorn Brandy into this movie from a movie that was, people hated it at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was, excuse me. Like I was 18, when I Still Know What You Did Last Summer came out. Like we were just talking about, your standards aren't always great for movies. Even in the moment, I was like, oh, this movie was horrible. It's like, why are you shoehorning Brandy into this movie? You're not the MCU, like trying to connect everything. Again, you're being way too precious about movies that were not really good in the time and have not held up in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I doubt after this very lukewarm opening that they're going to continue these movies at all.
It'd be like if the most recent Halloween remakes were really precious about like Halloween 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It's like just no.
Which really just goes to the point of like, I get it. I truly do. I'm trying to sympathize. I understand nostalgia is powerful. And you say like, hey, we're going to reboot. You say, if someone tells me they're going to reboot any movie I like from ages like 12 to 17, I can't help it. But initially I'm like, oh, cool. And then a lot of times I'll be like, oh, wait a second. Not cool. But like you do have that initial like nostalgia kicks in. But it's like, man, someone should have just talked them out of making this movie. Because it's not good. It's bad. And now we're trying to shoehorn Brandy back in a mid-credit scene that nobody's going to care about. Nobody cared enough to rush out to this movie. It did, like I said, the best way I would describe that box office is lukewarm. The only positive thing I could say is they were smart enough to keep the budget low.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they paid Jennifer Love Hewitt, she was overpaid for this movie. Like, Freddie Prinze Jr. is bad, but at least he's trying to do something. Yeah. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt this is one of the all-time, like, you just getting me. I'm really not going to try that hard, but here I am. Like, she does. I cannot overstate how little she does in this movie.
Yeah. Freddie Prinze Jr., looking at his IMDb, is for the past, like, decade more or even more, he's been doing a lot of voice work. Mm-hmm. Kind of makes sense. That's the one thing I'll give him credit for. Like, he's got I was watching this movie like, man, Freddie Prinze, that voice, you kind of got this like deep gravelly
this
voice.
This isn't the first time this has happened here.
I was like, it was like something happened to Freddie Prinze. Did I miss like he had a throat issue or something? But no, he just.
And this is so random too. Like, for a hot minute there, Freddie Prinze Jr. was working for the WWE, like the wrestling company. Like, he was a writer for their shows. Like, he's a big wrestling guy, I guess. Still married to Sarah Michelle Gellar all these years later. So, I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
But, man, it's just... This is one of those nostalgia movies where it's not like it kind of makes you appreciate someone like a Neve Campbell or someone like in Scream 5, like, who shows up and does do a good job. And she's game. Like, I know it's not actually Neve Campbell, but, like, the character is, like, falling downstairs and getting stabbed. And she's, it's like she came ready to play. Like, Jennifer Love Hewitt she just came to cash a check. I know. Yeah. I'm really, like I said, I take no delight in picking on Jennifer Love Hewitt. I have nothing against her, but
yeah, no qualms.
Yikes.
But yeah. Well, Andy, before we finish today, we were going to talk a little bit about Eddington, but it's the other big release of the weekend. I say big release, so. It was kind of a slow summer weekend because I know what you did last summer in Eddington were the new releases.
Yeah. Superman had a really good holdover.
And I'm not surprised. Yeah. And I'll tell people, if you're going to see a movie, don't worry about the new releases. Go see Superman or F1. Those are still in theaters.
I did. I saw them both again.
Oh, man, I'm planning to see both again. Yeah. I still haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, so we were going to go to Eddington. You told me this morning you hadn't seen Eddington. And we never do this. We never do this. We never tip our hand. We never show our cards before the other person saw it. And I said, Andy, don't bother.
I'm going to let you cook and sit back.
So I told you this, but I'll tell it for the audience. I walked out of the movie, once again, saw Lexi, who works at the theater, who I know, and she said, what'd you just see? I said, I saw Eddington. She goes, was it good? I said, no. And she goes, what is it about? And I was like, I don't even know how to begin to answer that question. She's like, well, what kind of movie is it?
Like, you weren't trying to be difficult.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm really not.
I truly don't know.
I'm truly not. So this movie, it's like Ari Aster took everything that he had been seeing in the news, mainly around like 2020, and put it all together in a movie. All those good stories that we all love talking about so much. It's dealing with COVID and wearing masks. It's dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's dealing with how people consume things on social media and politics and
sounds
capitalism.
Like a good time.
So he throws it all together in this story of this town and this sheriff who's just awkward and not very competent. But he does it without having any particular thing to say about any of them, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I can already imagine the pretentious critics who talk about how he's saying so much in this movie. And even like, I haven't listened to the Big Pictures review of it yet, but the title of the episode's like, Eddington is a mirror. Do you like what you see? And I'm like I'm already mad at you. I like the Big Picture, but like the whole like, oh, it's revealing ourselves. Here's the thing. This is a personal preference thing. I'll admit that. I like for my movies, I like for my music, I like for whatever, to have a point. And I think provocation is the coward's way out. People who say like, I know what it means to me, but I'm not going to tell other people what it means because I want them to draw their own conclusions. Usually what that means is like, it's a muddled mess and you don't really have like a point of view. Yeah. And this was like a muddled mess where I seriously have no idea what he's going for. There's so many things in it I have huge questions about. So in a way, I wouldn't mind you seeing it so I could be like, Andy, did you understand this? But I don't want to put you through that, Andy.
Yeah.
Because it was a slog. I said earlier...
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours.
I said earlier that I Know What You Did Last Summer is my least favorite movie of the year. This replaces it. Now, I'll say this. Everything's better made in this movie. Mm-hmm. Ari Aster clearly has talent. Yeah. There are some like long tracking shots that are cool, and I'm like, he just stages well. He makes it look cool. But because it was I don't even want to call it a slow burn because a slow burn implies something's happening. It is just a slog. It kind of gave me Kinds of Kindness.
I was going to ask.
Feels.
I was going to ask.
I mean, there was literally like points near the end of the movie where I was like rubbing my head and saying like, just end, just please end already so I can be done with this. Yeah. It was really frustrating. The other asterisk I'll put on this Ari Aster movie is that like there is the slightest chance that if situations were different and I was maybe in a different mental space because of this change I'm making in my life, this move I'm making, you know what I really wanted this weekend was just a fun escape of the movies. So going to the movies and seeing I Know What You Did Last Summer be like this really unfun, uninteresting, boring movie, and then going to see Eddington be this like pretentious slog, I was like, this is everything I didn't want. And it just doubled my annoyance. F1 again. I just need to go see F1 again and pump my fist and say, here's a triumph.
I know we've been on here a while, but I will say it's weird too how Ari Aster seems like, to me, his movies are getting worse. Like, he came out of the gate with Hereditary, which is very dark, but I'm a big fan of it.
I'm a big fan of it, too. Unfortunately, it's the only one of his I've seen, not because, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I need to check out this guy's other stuff, but...
And I saw Midsummer, and I thought it was an amazing Florence Pugh performance.
People like that movie.
Yeah, it's
it's
very,
respected.
Again, very dark, very disturbing. Basically like Ari Aster's version of The Wicker Man.
Yeah.
And then he did Beau is Afraid, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It just seemed so weird. I never watched it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're describing, where you're like, I really feel like he thinks he's saying something here, but it's only just weird. Like, it's so frustrating now. This, and it's like, man, like that's probably a whole separate pod though to talk about like these guys who just are so insistent on being weird, and like the fine line between like enjoyable weird, like say like Osgood Perkins.
Yeah.
Enjoyable weird, or just like, dude, you're just being so weird.
Yeah. There's so many scenes where I'm like, why did you have this scene? You know, what were you thinking? Like, when you crafted that, like, when you're crafting this movie together, or this one recurring, like, character that pops up, it's kind of like this homeless, raving, lunatic guy, and you're like, he's going to lead to something, right? And it doesn't really, I mean, like, something eventually happens with him, but the whole time I spent so much of this movie trying to figure out, what is this movie about? Mm-hmm. And even in the end, I was like, by the end, looking back, I had to look back and go, I guess it's about like things just kind of unraveling for the sheriff as all these like different things are occurring, but it never once felt like I knew I never had a grasp for what I was watching. Nothing helps in the movie, even like the score, because I'm sitting there going like, you know, a lot of times the music will tell you what you're supposed to be feeling. Yeah. And Ari Aster, as you said, he started off in horror, right? His first two movies were just
Hereditary and Midsummer.
Clear horror movies. Beau Afraid seemed like some weird psychological thing or something. Yeah. And then this one, it's like, it's not a horror movie, but it's kind of shot and scored a little like it. Mm-hmm. So I kept waiting for it, like, when's it going to get kind of like creepy or suspenseful or something, but it just doesn't. And so I didn't know what to make it. It's a very weird stew.
There's a select amount of filmmakers that it's like, it does seem like their sole intention is just to frustrate their audience. And it's like, I don't expect everyone to just make an F1, like a stand up and pump your fist kind of movie. You know, like I love Scorsese, I love Tarantino, I love all these guys, you know, and they're clearly not always interested in that at all. But it's like, why do you just, like, do you hate yourself? Like, what is going on here? Like, same with my guy Yorgos. Like, this is exactly, like, what you're saying is exactly how I felt about Kinds of Kindness, which I named as one of my worst movies of the year last year. And it's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
Yeah. So it's accurate to say that in one weekend, you saw what might very well be 2 of your 5 worst movies of the year.
I think they are very strong contenders.
That's rough.
It is rough.
That is rough. You need to cleanse your palate you need to do an F1 Superman double feature.
I do.
And we got Fantastic Four.
I would say, and it's really like, it's setting up Fantastic Four to be the redeeming movie. Like, oh, thank you, Fantastic Four.
I don't care if it's good or not. Like, just something positive was up on the screen.
Yeah. But that's a great segue for us to say that next time we're together, we will be podcasting about Fantastic Four. Unless we squeeze in something else in between now and then. Yeah. May happen.
Yeah.
We're also going to have a special guest, I believe, on our Fantastic Four.
Believe so.
Somebody who looks like a good mix between yourself and Johnny Storm, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
He's a good blend between the two. So
it's a good way to put it.
Your son Ryan is going to make his debut on our podcast.
Yeah, a big MCU guy. I introduced him to the MCU when he was little. Yeah. I'd let him watch like the last 25 minutes of Avengers when they're just fighting in New York, and he just kind of sit there like that. And he's my other kids have been MCU, but they have just kind of been like, you know what? Like they kind of checked out after Endgame. I don't blame them. Yeah. Spider-Man kind of brought them back a little bit. But then they were like, look, I can't keep up with all this. Ryan's the one who has kept up with me, so we'll have him on to get his thoughts.
And he's such a likable guy. I think he'll be a natural.
I hope so. He's nervous.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to say something stupid. Like, why don't we say something stupid all the time?
Yeah, exactly. Don't pull a Brittany. Come in here and be your true self. And that's going to be the most entertaining version.
No matter
of yourself.
what stupid things he says, it won't be any stupider than the dialogue, and I know what you did last summer. So
absolutely not. Well, Andy, I look forward.
I do too. I just want to say real quick, it's very therapeutic to watch these terrible movies sometimes, though. And just get on here and be like, this sucked. This was stupid. She's awful. Well, a little therapeutic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Trying to put a positive spin on it.
There you go. Hopefully next week we're being positive for positive reasons.
I hope so.
Yeah. But in the meantime, I hope everybody enjoys getting to the theater, seeing some good movies. I think a lot of people are going to go see Fantastic Four.
I think so.
So feel free to share with us your thoughts on those.
Yeah.
On that before we even talk about it.
Absolutely.
And we will see you guys next time.
See ya.